In this lesson, you will learn how to code loops, also called iterations. If you have come this far in coding, means to say that you are awesome. Let's print that using Python's print statement. But I want to print that 3 times so that it really sinks into you. One way of doing that is to write the statement 3 times. However, repeating the same print statement 3 times is not considered a great way of coding. One of the coding principles is not to repeat the same set of statements. So, how to execute this one print statement 3 times? This is where you use the loop constructs. There are 2 types of loops that we can use. One is called the for loop and the other while loop. Both of these constructs are compound statements just like the conditionals. Here is an example of a for loop. The for loop requires some kind of sequence to iterate, and it repeats all the statements enclosed inside of the for block as many times as the number of elements in the sequence. In this example, we are using the range for the sequence, and the range has a start value of 1 and a stop value of 4. Since a for construct is a complex statement, it should end with a colon, and the statements inside of the for block should get indented. Of course, you can have more than one statement also inside the for block as long as all of them are indented at the same level. So a range with a start value of 1 and a stop value of 4 gives a sequence of numbers starting from 1 and ending at 3, which is nothing but 1, 2, and 3. The range sequence numbers are copied over to a new variable I, one at a time. And after every copy, it also executes all the statements inside of the for block. In is a keyword that should be used with the for block to basically mean that for every I value which is in the sequence. So in the first iteration, the value of I is 1, and then it executes the print statement once. So the value 1 was used up in the first iteration, but the values 2 and 3 are still available in the sequence. And so in the second iteration, value 2 gets assigned to I, and then it again repeats the for block, executing the print statement again. For the final iteration, the last value 3 of the sequence is assigned to I, and the print gets executed one last time. If there are more statements after the for block, that gets executed after all the iterations are completed. The sequence can be a list also. In this example, the variable I will get assigned each element of the list one at a time, and since there are 4 elements in the list, it completes 4 iterations. Here is the output after the for loop completes all its iterations. Here is an example of using a dictionary for the sequence, and in this case, I gets assigned the keys of the dictionary at every iteration, and the number of iterations will be equal to the number of key value pairs in the dictionary. You can also create a loop using a while construct. For this, we have initialized a variable I to 0 to begin with, and then that is used in the conditional expression in the while construct. If the conditional evaluates to true, then it enters the while block. Here also, a while contains a colon, and all the statements that should get executed on the conditional being true should be indented. In a while block, the program of execution, after completing the while block, goes back to the conditional again to check if it is still true. And if it is, then it again enters the while block. If the conditional is false, it will jump out of the while block to the first statement after the while block. Notice that we are incrementing the I value for every iteration inside the while block so that the conditional evaluates to false after 3 times of executing the while block. If this is not added, then you will have an infinite while loop which never stops iterating. Here is the output after the while loop completes all its iterations based on the conditional expression.